Thank you. Well, the story of White Ladder was an amazing thing. It lasted many years from the first release of the whole thing in Ireland, all the success that came there. And then slowly it gained a momentum around the world. So if I can rewind to the summer of the year 2000, and that's when it came out over here on ATO, the Dave Matthews label. But we'd had this massive success in Ireland, and the record had been re-released in the UK. We had a deal with Warner's, and they were sort of putting everything behind it, and it was coming up the charts, and Babylon was being re-released. Now it means so much, the success we had in Ireland. We literally wouldn't be here if it weren't for those wonderful people and all their passion. So, to any Irish, thank you. But yeah, we wanted to crack it in our own country, and we all know how tough the Brits are. They're a right bunch of bastards, really, aren't they? So, yeah, it meant the world to us. We went down to Glastonbury. It's a big deal. We played an amazing set there. We could feel the world was starting to turn in our favour. We came off stage. We got hammered. We woke up bleary-eyed the next morning, and the manager said, Festival had been on the phone, Burt Bacharach's pulled out of his Sunday afternoon slot, and would you like to take it? So we said, absolutely, yes we would, absolutely, 100%. So suddenly we were playing the Pyramid stage on the Sunday, 3 slots down from David Bowie, who was closing the festival. So it was amazing. We went out there and, you know, there were 70,000 people. But before we even hit the stage, somewhere in Wales watching all this was my dad, who was going through chemotherapy, and he was in hospital. And he watched the highlights of the first gig on the other stage and missed that one. And then when he heard about the second gig, he just called his mate and said, get me out of here. And I think he just pulled the tubes out and met him in the car park and ran away. And so he blagged his way into the back of Glastonbury, so we're getting ready to go on stage, and he turns up at the backstage area. He's managed to get through all the security, all this crap. So there he is, and my sister turned up, all these friends and family out the woodwork. Anyway, we sailed out onto the stage. We had an amazing gig. We came back, we were walking on air, and then one of the record company guys turned up and said, don't forget it's the chart rundown for Babylon today. So we then listened to the radio, and we heard it tick down from 40 all the way into the top 10. And when it got to the top 10, I just turned to the radio guy and I said, well, maybe we're not in the top 40. That was the conditioning I had for failure. And he said, no, just sit tight, Dave, sit tight. And then lo and behold, there it was. It went at number 5. I wish I could say it went at number 1, but it didn't. Who cares about number 1? We're above the numbers game. Anyway, we sort of erupted into this sort of frothing effervescence of love. And we were sort of bouncing around, drinking and smoking anything we could get our hands on, and just basically... And my dad said, look at us, surrounded by family and friends, having the time of our lives, and look at David Bowie standing outside his dressing room over there. He looks completely lost. He said, son, I'm going to go and talk to him. I said, hang on a fucking second. You know, you broke out of hospital, that was cool. You busted into Glastonbury, that was also cool. But please leave David Bowie alone. Don't overplay your hand. He said, no, son, I'm going over there to talk to Bowie. Tim sensed that this was something that was going to happen. He said, all right, Pete, I'm coming with you. I said, come on, Clune, this is it. It's Bowie time. Anyway, he was right. He called it right. Bowie was standing there, and it was a big night for him. It wasn't so much a return gig, but it was a recrowning almost of him as an amazing artist that night. And yeah, he was totally lost. He saw us. The conversation just opened up. He saw something in us that he's been through. He'd seen it. He'd seen the magic. He'd lived it all. And we didn't have the obligatory 5-minute conversation. We had a full sort of in-depth thing talking about Glastonbury's past, his career, his set. He wanted to discuss his set and everything, you know. Anyway, it was an incredible day. What better day than this? So all that armour that you carried to defend yourself against the world and its cynicism, we kind of just, that day, we let it fall. We just let it fall. So in the spirit of celebration, and commemoration for all the people who've come with us on the White Ladder journey so far, and all the people who haven't made it this far, I'm going to sing a couple of songs by the great man himself.